everyone, welcome to the CGTN live broadcast. I'm Chengxi in Shanghai at the iconic site of the Bund. As you can see behind me, this is the symbol of Shanghai. There's three buildings that dominate the Shanghai skyline. You can see these three buildings everywhere, anywhere in Shanghai, and they are the symbol of China's economic development. And this site, if you say that Beijing is the capital center of China, then Shanghai is no doubt the financial and business center of this great country. And this, the Bund, is the center for financial activity and business activity in Shanghai City. So today we think it's interesting to take you down for a stroll down the iconic Bund and see these iconic historical buildings on the west side and the very developed high-rises on the east side. That shows a contrast of old tradition, past glory, and future development and high tech. So let's get started. Today we're happy to be joined by Mr. Qiao Yonggang, a very experienced tour guide in this area. He's born and raised in Shanghai, so he knows this place inside out. I've been here for several months. I'm not too familiar with the Bund, but I've got Mr. Qiao here to help me out. So let's start, shall we? So the Bund starts with that bridge over there. Is that true?
Yeah, the Bund, which is a start from the bridge over there, the Iron Bridge, which was built in 1907, which is the symbol of old Shanghai. And then, which is on the other side of the bridge, we got some old hotel, Shanghai Mansion, and then with in the Asian, in 1920s, and then with a lot of celebrities who came here to stay here, like Einstein, Charlie Chaplin, and then here.
Albert Einstein did stay here.
Yes.
Wow. Interesting fact.
Yeah, and then after we get to this area, the whole street we call Bund. The Bund means the Riverside Avenue here in Shanghai. And then some people say that the Bund, which is right now we consider as an English word, but originally some people say this is from German, and then some people say it's from Indian. I don't know. Actually, right now we consider as English, the Riverside Avenue here. And then right now, the place we stand here, which is the only one new building along the Bund, the Peninsula Hotel. Yeah, only start to open the business several years ago. Yeah.
So even though this is a new building, it keeps the same aesthetic style architecturally with the other buildings along the Bund, right?
Yes.
So we can see we've got all these luxury brands over here. So this is the place for luxury in Shanghai, isn't it?
Yes, this is actually Shanghai right now, the Bund. After 1990s, the government, we have the idea to build the Bund at the China Wall Street, mainly for finance. So that's why most of the buildings here we saw, which is the banks and insurance company. But on the first floor, we're gonna see a lot of fashion shops. Yeah, and then so that's why this is one of the most favorite place for a lot of people, especially for the young couples to come here to take the wedding photos.
Speaking of young couples, we've got a pair of young couples right over there. So this iconic street, the Bund, has been a popular site for couples to take their wedding photos because this is very a luxurious place to be. So this place attracts a lot of tourists each year. So we've just passed the National Day holiday. So at the National Day holiday, so at every given minute, there will be roughly 35,000 people along the Bund, because this is a very famous tourist area that attracts tourists from not only China but all over the world. So let's walk some more. So this building looks remarkably older than the other buildings. So this is historic, right?
Yes, actually from here, from this building all the way to the end of the Bund, we're gonna have more than 20 old buildings, different Western style. And then from here, you could experience the Shanghai development since 1910s until now. And then so along the Bund, which is a place you're going to see a lot of different Western style buildings. So we would like to call the Bund as the architecture exhibition. So something very special, which is when we come to the Bund, which is quite unique, we got a different style Western buildings, and then But when I show the foreigner, I got a lot of people from all over the world, and then they also feel amazing when they see such one street with a lot of different Western style building. They feel amazing. For example, you go to London, you only see the British style. But when you go to Paris, you only see French style. And the Bund here used to be, just because it used to be the common concession, it was occupied by different Western country. And then at that time, with so many Westerners here, and then after they make money, and then they have their own private properties, according to different places where they're from, and then they have a different idea to have a different kind of style of the architectures.
So this place had been a concession area that was owned by the British Empire and the French?
British, French, American, Japanese, yeah. And then mostly, which is at that time, and then we do have some of the legendary story here. I don't know if all the people, I think most of the people, you're gonna like the Bruce Lee movie. And then there is one of the movie, actually there is something about the story what happened around the Bund, which is around the corner, we have a park over there. And according to the movie, it is said that nearby around the entrance of the park, there was a notice about no Chinese and dog. And then that's a story happened about 100 years ago. And then but it shows you that how miserable Chinese people's position at that time. And then if you want to go check out the movie, the Fist of a Fury.
Fist of Fury. I believe a lot of our international audience are pretty familiar with that story. So this place is really not only a story of China's past glory, because apparently, so this place was a very high-end place. A lot of international institutions wanted to own a piece of the land to build their own building here in the 1920s or 30s?
Yeah, 1920s and 1930s. Even also later in 1980s, we got a TV drama from Hong Kong, Shanghai, which is also written about the story here, where the Chinese people, business people also fight with all the Westerners about the area around the Bund, just because here along the Bund, which is the most important for shipping. So all the Chinese people also challenge with the Westerners, although we are in the not good position compared to the Westerner when they were in the concession. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So the Shanghai Tan was one of my favorite, and it's interesting that both of these stories, the Fist of Fury and the Shanghai Tan, both showed the humiliation or subjugation of China in the past. That was in contrast with the glory of these buildings. So this is the Shanghai Clearinghouse, isn't it? The clearinghouse for a lot of financial activities in this city. So as Mr. Chow has just said, this is a big city that was called, this street was called the Wall Street of the Orient. So a lot of banking institutions, financial institutions, insurance companies are situated in this area. And Shanghai is now, after several decades, has now become the biggest financial market in China. And let me fill you in with some of the details. There are a combination of 1,519 financial institutions now in Shanghai. And just across the Bund at the Lujiazui, there are also 500 of them. And 30 of them are foreign owned. They're invested by foreign entities. And Shanghai, let's not forget, is the home of the A-shares. In the first half of this year, financial transaction volume in the city reached 655 trillion yuan. So the financial industry now accounts for 18% of the city's economy. So it is a very considerable proportion. So as you can see, this is the Roosevelt Hotel.
Yes. Actually, this is originally was a Western company here, and then right now we convert into a restaurant and hotel. And then there is something I want to show you about the story, Chinese people, how they compete with the Westerner, which is the one in front of us, and then which is the building with a flat roof.
Mm-hmm. Which one? The building with flat?
The Bank of China, which is with a logo on the top with a red logo, which is...
Can we walk over here?
Yeah, that's the only one Chinese-style architecture on the Bund. And then which is which is when the Chinese business people, when they were during the Bund was the concession, and the Chinese people, how we compete with the Westerner. And then at first, Chinese people, according to there is a story, it is said that, you know, next to the Bank of China, we do have another building, is very nice, with a green pyramid. That's right now, which is a Peace Hotel, but originally it was a private property by a Jewish people from UK and Sasson family. And then that's the highest building on the Bund, about 70 meters with 12 floors. And then once after he built this building, and then on the Bund, that's the highest on the Bund. And then his favorite room, which is on the top floor, face to south. And then, you know, after Chinese people realized, well, that's the Bund, which is the center of Shanghai before, and then we also would like to compete with Westerner. So we have the idea, want to build a building higher, taller than the Peace Hotel. And then, but you know, after we got the design, and then it's supposed much taller than the Peace Hotel, but when the guy Sasson knows the news, and then somebody gonna build a building is higher than his, and then he took the Chinese people to the court. And then
wow,
yeah, the Chinese people, you know, at that time in the concession, and then most of the which is the law is according to the Westerner. So of course Chinese people are gonna lose the case. So we have to change the design to cut 1/3 of the design to make it much lower.
Wow, wow. So that was one of the main theme of history in Shanghai, huh? The subjugation of Chinese in that colonist concession area. So this is the...
that's the building we saw,
yes,
which over there with
there?
the 2 lions in the front. And then that's the Bank of China. And then according to the design, obviously you will see, and then which is a Chinese design, which is the frame of the window look like an Asian Chinese coin. And then also if we are a bit far away from here, you're gonna see the roof, which is a flat with upturned eave. Very traditional Chinese design, modernized a little bit. Yeah.
So this building is clearly of Chinese design. You can see a lot of Chinese design elements here. It looks remarkably different from the other buildings. We've got like Greek and all these Western ancient architectural elements. But this Bank of China building, you can definitely see that it's built with a lot of Chinese elements in it.
It was built in the year 1937, and then, you know, once after we lost the case in the court, but the Chinese people still want to, well, we still want to compete. So some of the people for the construction, and then they figured out a way to make this building taller than the Peace Hotel, which is on the roof. They put the 2 flags on the top, and then it's gonna be taller than the Peace Hotel. And then after that, and then what I heard about the story, which is the guy, the Sasson, and then he never stayed to the room face to the Bank of China. Yeah.
That was an interesting story. So this is the Bank of China. That was the ICBC, the Industry and Commercial Bank of China. So these are all bank branches on the Bund, but they look so different from all the other regular branches in other parts of the city or other parts of China, and because they reside in these buildings.
And then once when we walk a little bit further, and then we're gonna see that's the building Peace Hotel. And then on the street here, we not only we have a Chinese bank, we do have a lot of banks from all over the world. And then just like, for example, the UBO, and then which is from Singapore. And then on the other side of the building, and then we do have the Citibank. So that's why along the Bund right now we consider as the Wall Street in China. The Peace Hotel, which is the highest building on the Bund. And then right now was managed by Paramount. And then something special of the Peace Hotel, which is with 70 meters high, and then they do have a 8-suite room with a decoration from different countries, such as Indian, Japanese, American. Those are different decoration in the different suite room.
Thank you. And I don't know if you can hear this, but we can see songs that was produced from the bell over at the bell tower, and the song is called the Red in the Orient, and the lyrics goes, red in the Orient, China has Chairman Mao, who is the founding father, along with his revolutionary comrades, that founded the People's Republic of China in 1949. So this bell rings every 30 minutes?
The bell rings every 15 minutes to show people's timing. And then just now we hear that's a bell, which is originally from, according to what I know, which is from England. Originally, British people, they make two bells with one mode. And then they left one in Big Ben. Actually, this is the twins. Yeah, and the clock.
So this is the twin of the Big Ben.
Yes. And then the clock on the top of the building, actually, which is made in US, and then they ship it all the way here.
It's very interesting. So we've got Citibank on one side, we've got the UOB on the other side. So it's not only Chinese banking group. So this is apparently a very popular.
That's a door of Peace Hotel,
yes. And that reminds you of New York in a way.
Yeah. And then there is in the Peace Hotel there is another thing quite special, which is this is actually the old building. We do have a lot of movie was shoot inside, and also on the first floor of the hotel, we do have a jazz club. And then it's quite special, which is they have the bands with all the musicians. They're about the 70s, 80s to play the old jazz, to bring you the memory back to 1920s in Shanghai.
Wow. So if you got a chance to visit Shanghai, so definitely visit the Peace Hotel, the jazz club in it, so you can get a taste of what Shanghai was like since its glory started. In the 1920s and 1930s, which was a time a lot of Chinese people romanticize about. So let's walk over here. So this building is reddish.
Yeah, and then the reddish building right now, we do have a fashion shop, something. Actually, this is this part of the building is also before it's belonged to a part of the business with the Peace Hotel. It's same. And then right now, and then on the first floor they have a lot of fashion shop for something like a watches. But I do want to tell all the young people, and if you come to China, get to Shanghai, and then you're gonna feel the nightlife of Shanghai, and then you could go to this is the Bund 18. Go to the top floor. You're gonna go to a very nice bar, a Barouche. And then they have a very nice environment. You could stay indoor and then order the drink as you like. And also you could get to the balcony. You have a nice view face to the river on the east side with all the high constructions. Especially at night with on both sides of the river with all the light lit up. And then you're gonna have a nice view, and then to be with a drink, a bit breeze.
So this is also a very popular area for entertainment and especially nightlife, because at night when all the buildings are lit up, it gets very, very beautiful. If you can take a shot across the Bund, that's called Pudong, which is the east side, and we're on the west side. So the west side is dominated by all these traditional buildings, but on the east side you can see that it is remarkably different from the west side. It's got a lot of high-rises, developed buildings, so they get lit up during the night, and they're really, really beautiful. So there are a lot of rooftop bars on the west side, so you can go at night and get a view of the city, what the best of the city has to offer. So let's take a longer walk. So that bell tower is very iconic in Shanghai's history. A lot of old pictures of Shanghai really features that bell, and this is really what old China and old Shanghai was about.
So this is actually which is a building which is a typical British style. When I show all the foreigners on the Bund, and then once when I show them the building, even without what I give them the information, and then everybody gonna realize they always call this the Big Ben's brother. And then this is actually which the customs house was built in the year 1925. But you know, traced back to about 100 years ago, Chinese people do have a poor condition in the concession, and then most of the department concerned of the government were under control by Westerner, and then follow the law by them, and then, so that's why even the customs house were under control by British. But right now, once when I show the people the place, and then along the Bund we have the old building, and then just like on the other side of the river we do have all the new buildings, and then to show others during the 100 years, and then how the Chinese people, it seems like we're standing up, and then we could compete anyone in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, just all the time when I come here, I feel proud of all the development.
That's very true. So these pillars on the right side look pretty Greek style, and we've got lions in the front, so we can tell this might be a bank. So yeah, we're right. This is the commercial, the Merchants Bank of China.
Yes, this is actually, you know, most of the Chinese bank, and then we would like to, according to Chinese people's culture, and then we would like to have a different kind of animal in the front. And then also, this bank, we do have also 2 lions, yeah, in the front. And then later, when we go to another bank, and then you're gonna see, and then there is the lion is very special, just because the old edition of the Hong Kong dollar, which is the pattern, which is from Shanghai, the lion in front of one of the bank here.
So are we approaching the end of this historic road?
Yes.
On the side, on this side. So if we are approaching the end of the west side, so why not cross the street over there to the east side of the Bund, where you can get to see the riverside and the eastern side of the city. So apparently you're a local Shanghai people. So according to the saying of Shanghai people, they really prefer the west side to the east side.
Yes, actually that's before, which is when I was young, and then we do in Shanghai we do have a saying, just because at that time the east of the river was nothing over there, only was a bit farmland and a few factories, and then the main development area, which is all on the west, here is the downtown. And then most of the social facilities are all on this side of the river. So most of the people, I think 99% of the people have the agreement. We got a saying. We say that we prefer a bed on the west to the apartment on the east. But right now with the city development, and then with the economy improved, and then I think right now most of the people, they change their mind. They will think that on the other side of the river and with a better environment here, which is too noisy, and then even the road is wider. Yeah, so that's why, and then with more and more people moving from the west to the east.
Yes, we can see that. I've traveled to the east side of the city. A lot of the roads are newly built, so they're pretty wide. So as you can see, that we're on a wide road, but a lot of roads inside the city on the downtown on the west side are actually pretty narrow. So if you prefer a more developed area to live and travel, you can really try out the east side. So let's go to the Bund area, the scenic area over there, and take a look across the river on the east side. There are a lot of office buildings, high-rises over there. In fact, actually now this year, according to official accounts, there are 610 international companies that have set up their regional headquarters in Shanghai, because Shanghai is one of the more popular destinations for international businesses to set up their regional headquarters here, because this is the trade center, the business center, the financial center of China. So among these 610 companies, 67 of them have set up their Asia Pacific headquarters, not only the China headquarters, but Asia Pacific headquarters in China, mostly in the Pudong area that was across the river. And 416 of these companies set up research and development centers in this area. The area that you're seeing right now, the magnificent areas that we're looking at. This is the Lujiazui district, and it's not only the center for foreign businesses of all sorts, it is also attracted a lot of financial companies. Over 40 well-known wealth management companies have set up or are planning to set up headquarters, regional headquarters in the Lujiazui area, which is across the Bund. And of the 50 top wealth management companies in China, 28 have set up WFOE in China. WFOE, which is stand for Wholly Foreign-Owned Enterprises, which is a mechanism that the Chinese government, for the Chinese government to allow foreign companies, qualified foreign companies, to set up offices in this city. For example, this year, we've witnessed the launch of the office of Vanguard, which is the biggest wealth management company in the world. They have just entered China, and I have interviewed their global CEO, who said that Vanguard is very keenly interested in entering the Chinese market and serve the 80 million high net worth investors in this very country. So among the 10 top financial institutions, wealth management institutions in China, 8 have set up offices in this area. So let's take a look at So let's take a look at across the river. So Mr. Chow, can you name us the more notable buildings across the river?
Okay, actually right now we face to the east side of the river. Actually, all the time, even I've been here many times, all the time I show the people the place, I feel exciting, just because I experienced the whole development. And then when I was young, when walking around this area, especially at night, along the Bund with all the light lit up, and then over there is dark. But right now, once when I bring the people to the riverside, and then we're walking along the Bund, and on both sides was all lit up, and then it seems like the people walk with 2 feet. And then the first time, the very beginning, when the government decided to develop the eastern area since the early 1990s, the first high construction was completed on the other side of the river, which is a TV tower, and then with a very nice design with all the balls and the columns.
Yes. So that is called the Oriental Pearl Tower.
TV tower. Actually, the design of the Pearl Tower, which is from an Asian poem by a poet named Bai Juyi. And then the Chinese poem was a 大珠小珠落玉盘. And it seems like a lot of all the pearls dropped from the heaven to the jade plate. And then that's the first high construction on the other side of the river. And then after that, we have a construction in front of the TV tower with the 2 globals. Just because that's a construction we built for the Fortune Forum 500, 1999. According to the design of the TV tower, we do want to have another construction. The style is matched. So that's why we have the design with 2 global, and then with the east global on the right and the west global on the left. So it's very easy to see that on the east globe on the surface with a map of China. And then with between the two globes,
so these are the 2 globes. We can see China on that globe over there.
Yes, and then with between the 2 globals, and then we have a construction. That's the International Convention Hall, and then which is a symbol of the bridge of a connection of East and the West. It shows you that after 1990s, China ready to talk to the world. And then after that. And I would like to show you some of the symbolic buildings. Over there, we have a new HSBC with the Twins Tower. On the right side of the Twins Tower, and then we do have a pagoda, which is look a little bit like a pagoda, silver color, this is a design from the Chinese pagoda modernized. This building, which is a Jingmao Tower, was completed in 1998. 420.5 meters high with 88 floors with the Grand Hyatt Hotel inside. From 53rd to 87 floors, that's hotel. All underneath this, that's offices. That building was completed in 1998. And then the one on the right side of the Jinmao Tower, we do have a building look like the beer opener. And then that's the World Financial Center with a 100 floors of 492 meters, and then with a Park Hyatt Hotel inside. And then after that, we do have another high construction.
That's the tallest one.
That's the tallest one, which is the second tallest in the world, the tallest in China, which is the Shanghai Tower, 632 meters with 128 floors. And then to show you that the several buildings year by year, and then from early 1990s and then late 1990s and the year 2010 and last year, and then that's I think this is the the symbol of Shanghai development during the last 25 years.
Yes, we see a lot of companies across here: China Ping An, BAE, City, Shangri-La, and HSBC. So a lot of people actually work there every day, and this city has attracted talents from not only all over China but all over the world to come and work in this city because of the huge opportunities in all sorts of industry that this city has to provide. So right now Shanghai has 2.4 million people, and 40% of them come from other parts of China. So a lot of people come here to work at these foreign companies across there.
Yes, actually, in Shanghai right now, there's more and more. All the talents from different Korea, and then they all think that in Shanghai there's more opportunities, and then to come to Shanghai work, and then we do call them the new Shanghainese. Yeah, so that's why when we're walking on the street of Shanghai, you might hear all different language or different dialect. Yeah, so not only like before 1980s, and then you all hear the local people, they're talking in Shanghainese. Shanghai, which is a place right now which is quite open to the people from all over the world. Yeah.
So Shanghai dialect is actually pretty hard to understand. I'm really getting accustomed to the Shanghai dialect. Yes.
So actually, when we are walking along the pedestrian, this is, according to my experience, this is the third time with a renovation. This is the renovation after the year 2010, when the World Expo was in Shanghai. And then in 1990s, the Bund, which is all the time, which is the most popular attraction, is not only for the local, but also for all the visitors. Especially like in 1980s, back to 1980s, at that time I was young, and when I walk along the Bund, and then the Bund used to be a very romantic area, just because at that time we don't have a lot of entertainment. So that's why for the young people when they want to hang out, and then the most popular choice, which is to come to the Bund, especially at night in summer with the breeze. And then, so that's why, if just imagine when you were here in 1980s, when you face the river, and then you're gonna see all along the river, and then you're gonna see the people standing over there, couple by couple. So at that time, we call this the Wall of Love.
So this is called the Wall of Love.
Yeah, so right now within the city development, and then the economy improved, we do have a lot of different kinds of entertainment. But there are more and more people come to Shanghai to visit. Especially, there's a Chinese Goat holiday just finished. Otherwise, when we are on the Bund, you're gonna see it's not very easy for us to move this way with so much relaxation. Yeah.
Yes. So this place is not only a long-time memory of the Shanghai people, but a new place for people all over the world to work here. And right now there are 172 expats working in this city, and they work in many foreign-owned companies and financial institutions in this area. And this The reason why a lot more people are coming here is that this place has become the symbol of China's reform and opening up, which is approaching its 40th anniversary next year. Because China has embarked on this reform of setting up free trade zones in Shanghai, which is the first pilot free trade zone in the city. A lot of foreign companies get to enter this city and get to enter China. So based on that model, which is set up in 2013, 11 free trade zones right now are established across China. And in Shanghai, there are 48,000 companies set up in the free trade zone, and more than 8,000 of them are foreign-owned. So because of the narrowing negative list, a lot more restriction items for foreign companies are lifted. So more people get to work here and live here. So this place has become an attractive place not only for local Chinese but people all over the world. So I hope today you've gotten a taste of what Shanghai is like, the old Shanghai, the new Shanghai, and what we would like to focus on is the future of Shanghai, the future of China's reform and opening up, and the future of China's economy. And we do believe that the future is right across this river. And we hereby conclude this live broadcast. We want to thank Mr. Chow for introducing us to the beauty of Shanghai. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's my honor to show you a little bit, to show you my hometown. I hope after you all get information and then welcome to Shanghai. Shanghai is ready for you to experience, that you come here to feel the city.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chow. So we hereby end this CGTN live broadcast. I'm Yang Chengxi in Shanghai, and I'll see you in the next one.